Hi everyone, Ray Poynter here. Today I'm joined by Jack Bowen, founder of CoLoop, and we're going to be looking at what CoLoop does and why you should be interested in it. Hi Jack.
Hey, how's it going?
Really well, thanks. Thanks for joining us. And just give us like a really quick introduction of what it is that CoLoop does, and then let's have a look at it.
Cool, yeah. CoLoop is an analysis platform for insights and strategy teams. And right now, we're specifically focused mainly on qualitative. And particularly at the moment, we process a lot of long-form qualitative data. Interviews, expert calls, focus groups, that kind of thing. And we're working on expanding that to more ranges of data and study types like open ends and longitudinal work as well. But yeah, that's mostly where it's focused today. And in terms of what we do, we help people ingest all of that data from different sources, set it up in a kind of bespoke AI analysis space, and then get that kind of first level analysis done much more efficiently, much more deeply than we'll be able to otherwise.
Great. So let's have a look at something.
Cool. All right, let me share my screen and we'll jump into it. Okay, so this is a project within CoLoop, and what this consists of is 17 expert interviews with different experts from the pharma industry. So it's a mix of people who are building software tooling for the pharma industry, and then people who would use those kinds of tools in pharma. So this would be a typical kind of discovery piece of research that a commercial team might commission from a big pharma company or someone developing platforms for them. Um, each one of these interviews have been uploaded and transcribed. It's all built in the transcription, so it will go through all of those and convert them to text. It's super accurate, and it'll also generate summaries for you that are based on discussion guides and background material that you've provided as well. Um, so all those are set up. On top of that, we've also added in some segments here as well. So you can build in things like demographic information, age, gender, market type, anything to do with your customers that you want to add in that's important for your analysis downstream. Um, so this is the project that I've set up, and all of my objectives have been loaded in here as well. So I've got my brief and discussion guide as well in the settings tab here. Um, there we go. So my objectives outlined there, my description, and it's now basically ready to help us do our analysis. If we didn't have CoLoop, we'd be looking at quite some time to get through all of this. They're very dense interviews. They're about an hour long each, and they cover some very technical subject matter as well. Um, what you can do with CoLoop is you can basically generate various types of analysis report and then also dig into the data and query it and sort of chat to your data. So the first place that most people tend to start is in the analysis grid. The analysis grid functions just like a classic qualitative analysis grid. So you can set one of these up, um, create it, and it will basically list all of your participants down the left-hand side. It will give you suggested questions up here, which you can choose from, or you can type in your own. And what you do is just add those in, hit create, and it can run through your key questions from your guide or your main objectives, and it will take each one of them and aggregate all the information related to each individual participant, outline that, and then it will accumulate all of those results together into a high level thematic overview. Um, Crucially, as well with this, it will cite all of its sources. So you'll see that as these bullets come through, each one of them is hyperlinked. And if you click on those hyperlinks, it will actually take you back through to the sources so you can see exactly where it came from your research material. And then it will highlight bits of your transcripts and research material that are most relevant to illustrating that point. So what you end up with is a really nice kind of familiar approach to doing a content analysis and then a good kind of human in the loop citation checking system so you can jump in and make sure that it aligns with your experience of those interviews. Um, so it's pulled through all the individual ones there, and then it's just going to generate the thematic overview up at the top here. And yeah, the idea really is that you can kind of put each of those questions in and build out that kind of initial narrative and storyline for your report. So I'll just show you what a complete one looks like over here. There we go. So there's thematic analysis, and it's basically breaking down each theme with a count at the end there, a description, and then some bullets citing sources linking back to it. So that's kind of the first level analysis. So you can get the lay of the land, figure out the key themes and what sort of story you're going to tell. When you get down into the more detailed parts of the work and you want to start looking at some of the themes and key answers and pulling out more specific quotes, the second tool that most people then jump into is the AI chat. So this is basically an agentic chat system. It's a bit like deep research, except it's been set up to function specifically for insights work. So you can ask it thematic questions, quantitative questions, quote retrieval, that kind of thing. So I can do things like, for instance, how many participants said they're using it right now of their work, like that. I can run that prompt, and then what it will do is go through and then select from a range of tools, which will then use to then go through my research data, analyze it, and help me produce an answer to that question. And essentially, each one of these tools is set up to kind of carry out one of those different functions. They can also be chained together and used to produce various different types of outputs as well. So thematic analysis could be combined with quantitative analysis and used to kind of generate fully fledged reports from our research material. So it's now running its quant analysis. There we go. It'll show you how many participants it's running through as well. So it's really important to us to always demonstrate that we're achieving completeness and we're actually analyzing the full data set. And then once it's done that, it's going to generate this little artifact over here on the right-hand side that gives us the final response. This basically outlines the answer to our question, and it shows all of its working to sort of show every participant what it decided, which bucket it decided they fell into, and then on top of that, it will give us those citations again, so we can see where it came from in our research material with those context highlights. So that's an example of a quant question. It can handle other types of questions as well. So we've got thematic ones too, concept analysis. This would be a concept analysis one, so it can pull out, for instance, people's responses to different concepts or products that might be being talked about. And it will each time just generate one of these artifacts for you that gives you full breakdowns again with citations and quotes. So you can always see where it came from in your research material. And what it really allows people to do is just kind of rapidly traverse all of that data, do it in a really complete, explainable way that you wouldn't get with a more sort of generic LLM that would not get counts right or not look at all the files or run out of context.
That's great. So, who are the typical users? Are they novices with Qual, or does it tend to be people with some understanding of depth interviews and focus groups already?
The key users that we've mostly been selling into are kind of professional researchers. So they're folks on the agency side and then also increasingly on the in-house side as well. So they're typically trained researchers and they're the kind of folks who are really deeply involved in kind of running through interpreting that data and putting together final reports. So yeah, they've been a great audience as well to develop with very, very high standards, which they've definitely held us to. And yeah, they're kind of the core user group right now.
Now, when you were showing us the citations, is it possible to link back and actually hear the recording that links to that?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll try to find one with the audio attached. So if we go to this example uh, here, you can actually open these up. I'll just find one that's got a video. Here we go, this one. So you can open these up, and then if you find a good quote in here, um, you can go all the way back into it, and it will take you back to the recording. You can play it back, and on top of that as well, you can also select bits of the text, and you can also create clips out of it too. So if you want to produce like a small reel, something like that, you can also pull that together. And when we use our own tool internally for our own customer research, this is something I do quite a lot to really bring our engineering team, for instance, into the picture and actually just show them what it's like dealing with a customer who's really happy with the feature, who's really annoyed about a bug. And it's a great way to kind of mobilize action and get everyone excited and motivated about what we're doing.
Okay, so what you've showed us so far, Jack, is what I'd call the messy stage. We've had all of those transcripts from the depth interviews. You did some analysis. We've got themes. We've got extractions. What can we do then to jump to a report from that?
In terms of like producing reports from this sort of information, what we found really with our audience, these professional researchers, is that the kind of preferred approach is to then sift through this stuff, and to take these insights out, these pieces, check them, think about them, and then use those to produce the work externally at this point, and to then work out of a PowerPoint or a document to then write it up. Um, what we found is that with full report generation features, often with professional researchers, really felt like they were kind of losing control of the narrative and the story. And by doing it in this kind of piecemeal way, it really gives them the ability to intercede and provide their own perspective and opinion on it. One of the things that we're looking at the moment is another feature as well with the AI chat too, which will allow users to essentially look at some possible ways in which they could represent this on a slide, just to kind of give them a bit of creative inspiration. But for us, what we found is that the sort of winning combination for that super high value, super important research is to definitely get the human in the loop and make sure that people are like moving back and forth, lifting things out and kind of putting their own spin on it.
Great. So nearly hitting in the time buffer. So two or three of the classic questions. First one is languages. What is it working at the moment?
Yeah, in terms of languages, we've got pretty global coverage at the moment. Off the top of my head, I think there are about 40 that we support now. But yeah, it works for pretty much all markets you'd want to run it in. And yeah, we're always working to increase that as well. The challenges we've always found are usually with low resource languages where there isn't too much training data, and low resource languages with technical subject matter. So pharma content in a very niche language group is always challenging. But yeah, for the time being, it works across pretty much most studies people want to run.
Lovely. The data security, how do I know that some LLM somewhere isn't learning from my
Yeah.
use?
Really important question. So this is one that we've heard a lot over the last couple of months, and ever since we started CoLoop, information security has been a huge priority for us. So we're fully SOC 2 certified. We also have a published trust center as well. So if you go to trust.coloop.ai, you can see published FAQs and documents about all of our security protocols and procedures that we have in place. And you can also request access to all of our certificates as well from this page, and I'll let you see that. And as far as training goes, we also enter into very strict DPAs with all of our customers that are very clear about not using any of that data for training and returning it end of contract, etc. Once, yeah, if that's appropriate.
Okay, and the final one of those, how does somebody get to try this?
Yeah. So in terms of trying the platform, you can access it via our website. So if you head over to coloop.ai, you can sign up here for a demo. We do demo-based sales. It's pretty quick to get a call, though. You can get one almost always next day or within that week. And then what we'll do is basically take you through the platform, show you how it works, show you all the kind of key features, and then if you want to move forward from there into a trial, we'll then set that up and offer you full onboarding and support.
And you've got like I believe, a variety of payment subscription methods from per project or subscribing and so on.
Exactly, yeah. So subscriptions, there are project options for more boutique research agencies as well. So we've got done a deal with the ICG, for instance, which folks can access through our community. And then for larger companies, we do volume-based subscriptions, and we also offer seat-based pricing as well for in-house teams.
Fantastic, Jack. I think it's amazing, and I look forward to hearing what people think when they come and visit.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for having me.